the art of meal prep. I hope other people can join us later from Facebook. But basically, the reason I wanted to talk about meal prep is because a lot of times when we uh, start, changing our lifestyle or thinking of, I'm going to make a change, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, meal prep always comes to mind. And it doesn't have to be complicated. And a lot of times we make this really big animal out of it when really it doesn't have to be. So the way I always like to think about it is you always have to start with your goals. So what is your goal? Are you trying to lose some weight? Are you trying to lose the last 10 pounds? Are you wanting to get abs? Are you trying to be a little bit more toned? Are you trying to save some money and be a little bit more organized with your food? Is this your first time trying? You've never done this before. So you want to think about your goals, and that will determine which way you want to go with your meal prep and how you want to get it done. Usually what happens, these are our expectations. We think it's going to be super time consuming. It's going to be very complicated. We have to plan, we have to shop, we then have to clean and prep and measure and pack and put stickers on it and put it in a cute container and then take pictures on Instagram and then share with everybody. And then we have to clean everything afterwards. And then what happens, all of it is stuck in our fridge. Do you actually eat it, or you end up throwing half of it away later? How often does that happen? That happens a lot. What we do in the beginning, we do some extensive research. We obviously spend some time on Pinterest, look for cute pictures. We ask our friends for best tips. Hey, you guys, starting my meal prep. What is your best advice? And they have a whole bunch of friends from all different points of their life give you advice, knowing nothing about your journey. Josh is going to tell you the keto diet is the way to go. Cass is going to say meal prep some bananas. And then just say, I eat Thai food every single day. And then people are going to give you a whole bunch of advice. So you were already freaking out about the whole idea. And now all of your friends just added to that. So you follow all the advice, you do all of the things, you spend a whole bunch of money, you buy containers, you go shopping, you go to Costco, you buy a whole bunch of things, spend a lot of money, then you cook all day, then you clean, and then you hate the whole process, and then you quit halfway through, and then you were like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna get pizza and I'm gonna do it another day. Sounds familiar? I think a lot of us can relate to this. And you were like, yeah, just wasn't worth it. So start on Monday. The question to ask yourself, was it actually too much work? Or do I just suck at planning? And usually the answer is we're just not good at planning ahead because we don't know why we are doing it in the beginning. So what I always recommend, first, like I said, you think about your goals. If your goal is to simply get started on your weight loss and you're like, I've never done meal prep, so I just want to lose some weight, cut out some food out of my diet, out of my daily intake. You want to keep it very, very simple. So you start with planning, and you start with lunches or only dinners, let's say for the next 4 or 5 days. Let's be honest here, nobody wants to eat a 7-day-old meal that was stuck in the fridge, right? And also my tip, do not meal prep salads for 7 days ahead, because that shit is disgusting and nobody wants to eat that. So when you're planning something, think about foods that will stay good tasting for a few days. And what I also do a lot, I would, if I meal prep, let's say for 7 days, I will put some of it in the fridge, and then I will put some of that in the freezer. So think about foods that will stay okay in the freezer. Rice does not freeze well. Sweet potatoes freeze amazing. So think of things like that. You've probably tried that before, so you would know. So like I said, I would recommend starting small. So plan for lunches or dinners, and don't try to make a meal prep for 7 people for 7 days with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because you're going to end up in that first place ordering pizza. The easier way to go about it is decide on the protein and decide on your side dish. Think of two proteins that you want to stick to. I would go for something like, if you eat meat, think of something like chicken and something like fish. Always plan for something a little bit leaner. That way you have options to add other things on top of it without adding any extra calories or make it like more calorie dense. And again, with the side, you don't want to over season your sides because you will simply get bored if you eat the same seasoned saffron rice with like a whole bunch of seasonings. You can only do that for 2 days, and then on a third day you're like, want to go back to that pizza meal prep because that is way more delicious anyway. Next, what you want to do now that you decided on your proteins, you decided on your side dish, make sure you check your fridge and your freezer first. Chances are you probably still have a lot of stuff in your freezer or your fridge. We always have something in our freezer. I don't know about you guys, but I always have something in my freezer. A lot of times if I see chicken or I don't know, lean protein on sale, I would buy double and then I freeze it to use it later. So check your freezer first. And when you do go to the store to buy your food for meal prep, only buy what you need. Don't go into the store thinking, what if, right? Or, but I can also make this, and this would be a good idea to add to whatever I'm already making, because that's usually not a good idea. So stick to your plan, only buy what you need, and don't waste any money on things that you may use later because you probably won't. Once you're done with your protein and your side dish, think about 1 or 2 vegetables. I recommend cooking your vegetables separately because it is really, really hard to account for mixed vegetables, especially if it's a mix of starches and green vegetables. Like if you mix something like corn and I don't know, broccoli, there are 2 whole different groups of foods. You don't want to do that. So I would recommend cooking them separately or sticking to just 1 or 2. And when you think about your foods, I recommend you steam, roast, grill. Avoid adding any oils and don't overcook them, because if you look at the 2 pictures on the bottom, which one looks more appetizing? Clearly not the one on the right. I will not touch that. That is going to go to the trash immediately. So I always undercook my vegetables. If I steam, I'll steam it for 4 minutes. I'll put it in an ice bath, and that way it stays crispy and crunchy and preserves all of the colors. And that way you can season it later. You can add any spices or condiments on top of that. And then also think that when you reheat your food later, it's going to cook a little bit more. And like I said, the last thing that I want to eat for my meal prep is that disgusting mix of green beans right there. Like I said, that is going to go to the trash later, and I'm probably going to go with something else. Next thing you would want to do, you would want to portion your meals. And this is where it gets complicated for a lot of people, or perhaps people make it complicated because they're like, do I portion it? Do I weigh my food? How much should I eat? What are my calories supposed to be? How much protein am I supposed to eat per day? That question I cannot answer to you because I simply know nothing about you because I hadn't worked with you before, right? So for somebody who is just starting out with the basic process of meal prep to get a little bit healthier and to lose some weight in the beginning, just portioning in cups, measuring in cups and portioning your food ahead of time, that is the most helpful tool before you get familiar and more accustomed to that. And then you can move up to the next level and start measuring your food a little bit more precisely and accurately. So for somebody like an average person, you would use 1 small chicken breast, like the size of your palm. Make sure it's not super thick. Or if you cube it, if you cut it in cubes, it would be about a cup of chicken. I would go with something like a half or a full cup of cooked rice, and about 2 cups of vegetables. A lot of different places you will see they recommend a cup of vegetables. I strongly believe that for somebody who has not been on any nutrition plan in a long time, you cannot overeat on vegetables. once you get into the process and you start losing weight and you find yourself that you are plateauing, this is when you look at vegetables and the numbers, and you will start counting them a little bit more precisely. But in the beginning, as long as it's green and it's a vegetable, you're good to go. What I also see a lot is people planning their meals and their snacks. And here, some of you know my opinion on snacks, some of you don't, but it is entirely up to you. There are people that like snacking and they can eat a small meal and be okay with that. I know for me personally, if I eat an apple, then 20 minutes later, I'm going to be just as hungry as I was before. So in that case, if I'm hungry, I might as well just go ahead and eat a meal, because that's going to be more satisfying, more filling, and I know I'm going to be okay until my next meal. And if you plan correctly, like let's say if you take an apple and almond butter, especially if you are not very great at measuring your almond butter, it can be up to 200, 250 calories. You can eat a salad with chicken for 200 and 250 calories, and that's probably going to serve you a lot better rather than just eating a snack. But like I said, this is entirely up to you. But if you choose to snack, I would recommend you choose something that has protein in it, because it's going to be, like I said, more fulfilling and you are going to be satisfied a lot longer. When eating a snack, if you're getting in, I don't know, a snack bar or a protein bar, check the label on the back. There is no perfect recommendation, but if there is more carb than protein in that bar, chances are it's not going to keep you happy for a long time. Also, beware of amount of fats in snack bars. A lot of times they're advertised as health foods, and they're made with nuts and seeds, and all of those things are amazingly healthy. However, if your snack bar has 32 grams of fat, it's on a higher side. So you might want to reconsider that and choose something else instead. Or if you like to save time and you like to save your sanity and you like spending time with your family, you can just order meal prep and not cook and not clean and not shop at all. There's always that option. There are plenty of different companies that do meal prep even now, and they will deliver to your house. The option that I use, Prestige Labs, they're always fresh and they come on dry ice. So I just stick them in the freezer and I take them whenever I don't want to meal prep. So this is a great option. And if you are thinking about something a little bit bigger, like you have been on a weight loss journey for quite a while, and I don't know, this week we had a coaching call in my private group about plateaus. And if you find yourself in a place of a plateau, like I've been doing good, but I'm not seeing any more results, this is where you probably are going to have to step it up a little bit more. And the way I always like to explain it is on a scale from 0 to 10. Going from 0 to 1 is always easy, right? Going from 1 to 2 is a little bit harder. Misha, shh. Sorry, working from home. Going from 1 to 2 is a little bit harder. Going from 2 to 3 is harder. So if you are starting at 240 pounds, losing first 10, 20, 30 pounds, it's you going from 0 to 1. Moving forward, it's a little bit harder. So you're going to go from 1 to 2. If you find yourself at number 5 or 6, where just portioning your food is just not cutting it anymore, that means that you probably need to look a little bit deeper into your nutrition. And it's helpful to have a second set of eyes to help you out with that. And the biggest question that I get from a lot of people is, how come I can't lose weight if I'm eating healthy and I'm not eating that much and I'm not eating that bad? And the thing is that you don't have to eat bad, or you don't have to eat that much in order to gain weight or not be able to lose weight. It's usually something that we overlook, something that we don't pay attention to. And like starchy vegetables a lot of times, or cooking oils that you use for your cooking, or snacks that you use, or I don't know, almond milk in your smoothie. There are a lot of really healthy foods that can still prevent you from losing weight simply because the awareness is not there, because you're not 100% aware of what you're consuming. And like I said, it doesn't have to be extreme. Like you don't have to be counting every single gram. This is why you want to start with your goals first and think about what kind of effort you want to make and what meal prepping means for you. But if your goals are a little bit more serious and you're like, okay, I lost 40 pounds, now I want to go for the next 20, this is what you want to think about. Starting is easy, continuing is harder, maintaining is the hardest. And what I see a lot is this is actually a screenshot from one of my clients, Trina. She posted a really cool thing. Is she said, reteaching my body how and what to eat and having a teacher has been so good for my sanity. All of us know what to do for the most part, right? We all know um, like what we should be doing. The fact of the matter of us actually doing it. Are we doing it? Are we 100% honest with ourselves? It's really easy to say, you know, I do everything that I can in my power, but I'm not getting results. But are we getting everything in our power? So a lot of times we just need to be reminded a lot more that we need to be taught. And this is why every coach has a coach. I have three coaches. And you would think, you know, I know everything, and I may, but I actually had to unlearn everything that I knew before and open my mind and just say, I'm going to trust my coach and listen to what he says, because it's like I said, it's easier to have a second set of eyes. So the reason why people quit so fast, statistics show that 87% of people quit after 3 to 6 weeks of being on any program. This is why 3 to 6 week programs are super successful, like Biggest Loser programs. You guys all of you have seen those. But then they will have a second show showing where the people are like 2, 3, 4 years later. Like I said, because starting out is easy, it's the continuing and maintaining is a lot harder. So usually what happens, people get to their goal. I wanted to lose 20 pounds. That was my kind of like milestone. And people are like, well, you know, I got to my event. I lost 20 pounds for my wedding. Now I can get fat again. And that happens a lot. And nobody is guaranteed from that happening to them. And where I'm going with all of this and why I started with meal prep is because everything gets boring, okay? Everything gets repetitive, everything that we do. Workouts get time consuming, life gets in the way, you know, kids have school and events and I don't know, husbands, and quarantine happens and we get stuck at home for like so many weeks. Nobody knows when this is going to end. Motivation goes away. And we all think to ourselves, I will start again later. But the thing is that having something like meal prep in your life and having that a part of your routine, it accounts for your daily and weekly habits. And this is what essentially creates your success. It's not the fact that you have chicken and rice and vegetable in your meal prep. It's not the fact that it's precisely measured to the gram. It's not the fact that you have a rainbow of colors in your meal prep. What accounts is that you have something ready for you that is healthy to eat when you open the fridge. And if you have something in the fridge that is ready, you're more likely to eat that rather than order pizza. And a lot of times this saves us from a lot of bad decisions. This is why I say when people overcomplicate meal prep, this is why we think about, I'm going to make this whole bunch of different recipes. You know, this looks amazing. This looks amazing. I'm going to buy these spices and whatever, like do this and this and that. When in reality, just makes it harder. So you stop. But making something simple for you, like something you know you will always eat without trying to be very extravagant with your food, this will become a part of your routine and a part of your weekly habits and a part of your daily habit. You know, you always eat this for lunch throughout the week. And that will, if not help you to get more results, at least it will prevent you from reversing backwards to where you started, especially in the times like this now. At the gym, half of our people are actually getting amazing results, and other people they're maintaining really, really well. And all of the daily habits and routines that they had before, this is what's helping them. So this is where, I like to say, you don't choose what's going to happen to you. You can plan everything you want. But if you focus on little daily habits and you keep repeating them over and over and over again, those habits will determine your future and your results. There's a really great book. It's called Atomic Habits. You can listen to that on Audible. I really like that book. I listened to it twice already. And it starts with simple things, like it doesn't have to be complicated. So if you treat it as a part of your life, it will be super easy. If you treat your meal prep or other things as a chore, you will hate it and you will never do it. Like my coach Trevor says, if you eat what you will like eating it. And how true is that? Like if you make something that you don't like, chances are you're not going to eat it. If you eat what you like, it's easier to stick to that. So you can always just work everything that you like into your daily routine, into your weekly routine, and stick to that. And that will help you get the results that you want. And the way I always talk about it is we can have a lot of help. We can have different things done for us. Like we can have a chef cook for us. You can have a trainer at the gym that will kick your ass at the gym. You can have somebody go shop for you and bring you the food home. Having somebody like a coach who will help you create habits and be accountable to them. This is what brings you results. There's some people that can be super accountable. That probably is about 0.0000001% of the population. Michael Phelps has 7 coaches, and clearly all of the Olympic medals that he has, it was the result of his work, but he had help and tools from his coaches to get there, right? So we want to make our life simpler and easier. Instead of adding more things to our plate every single day, we want to remove some of the things from our plate so we can treat it a little bit easier. And if we think of a meal prep as of an extra thing you have to do on the weekend, that will make your life a lot harder and you're not likely to stick to that. The simpler you make it, the easier you make your routine, the better your results are going to be, and the more likely you are actually to reach your results. So as it says on the screen, what starts with learning to meal prep may turn into a lifelong success for those who are willing to simplify and be consistent in doing the boring work. Yes, meal prep may be boring. Yes, it may not be exciting. However, having abs is never boring. Losing 40 pounds is never boring. Buying new wardrobe is always exciting. And throwing away your older clothes that is size 16, like my pants, that was super exciting. And I will never want to go back to that again. So when it comes to meal prepping, when it comes to changing your life habits, when it comes to doing something that you've never done before, we always think about immediate gratification. So you meal prep for 1 week, you meal prep for 2 weeks, you're like still not seeing results. It really helps to look towards your destination and see what my goals are, what I'm trying to achieve with that, and where I'm going. And once you establish this as a part of your daily, weekly routine, the results will come as a side effect rather than something that you are focusing on consistently. Okay, so this is the end of my fancy presentation. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna unmute you guys, and I want to see if anybody has any questions.
Are you on? Okay.
So many background noises. Did you guys learn anything new? People are like, no, I know all of that. But it's nice to be reminded, right? Right, Christy, so nice to see you. I haven't seen you in like 5 years. Wait, it's been 2 months. That's funny.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. You're working, huh?
I am. I'm working from home and teaching
awesome.
kids, and yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, I'm working from home too. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Well, I hope this is helpful, and I hope it makes your life a little bit easier. And like I said, we just always overcomplicate things so much. And
What was the name of that book? The
it's called
Atomic
Atomic Habits. Yeah.
Habits. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. So the way the book starts, the guy talks about his life experience. He had a crazy injury where he had to relearn everything from the beginning. And he was a very promising athlete. And basically, he got injured like at the peak of his career. And so he had to like start over from the beginning. And it's the power of little habits, like going to bed at the same time every day. And then you do it one day, do it for 7 days, 28 days. And then moving forward, it just becomes such a part of your lifestyle. But you know, next day you're going to wake up on time, always at the same time, always going to have the same energy, always going to feel great. And it's super powerful. Little things. It's not the big things that help us to make changes, you know, it's always the little things. And we always underestimate them. And people ask me all the time, they're like, what is your secret? Like ever since like last year you've had so many changes. I'm like, there is no secret. I just keep doing the same thing every single day. But when you do the same thing 365 times in a row, this is where the results come from. So that's what it is. All right, you guys, awesome to see you. I'm glad so many of you could make it. I'll share the recording a little bit later. If you have any questions, let me know. I will do something else next week. Something, I don't know if you think of something that may help, something basic like this, but people are scared about. I will be more than happy to talk about it. Okay, have a great day. Happy holiday.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.